Okay.
Put this here.
You like my
Right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Forgive us for being a little bit on the late side. My fault. My bad. My computer was slow, and I was actually just doing a little bit of a design project, which I showed to the ladies on behalf of my brother, who has got a book out next year. Oh my! That's all I'm saying. I mean, this is going to be quite something. So, welcome everyone to HoDiGa's Tarot. Thanks so much for joining us, and let's just introduce. Of course, we have the lovely Dianne, who is now on. What are you? You're now on the right, and Lady G is now in the middle.
Switched.
We're kind of swap. We're kind of, just to keep you guys on your toes. We keep you guys on your toes. And of course, before we start off the show as well, please don't forget to like and subscribe or join any of our channels. The details are in the description below. And today, as an added bonus, I've got some added videos and stuff like that in the link where people can research certain things for themselves based on the topics that we're going to be discussing today. Now, as usual, the ladies they don't know what questions I'm going to ask. So these are going to be cold reads. Yeah. So get ready. This is going to be quite a show, I think, ladies, because I want to ask some interesting questions. So the first thing I want to talk about in terms of, let's just do a few little shout outs as well. Forgive me. Oh gosh, we've got lots of you here already. Faye Cole, Lisa Loves Animals. Oh, that's a great name. Love that. Annalie Finch, Helene Robinson, Teresa Tarin, and Yanti, and
Yanti.
And Zeno, and so many of you. And of course, I'll do a few more kind of shout outs as we go. Now, let's just get stuck in. Oh, I feel like I'm flirting with controversy here, but maybe not quite. Right. Now, what I wanted to talk about today, obviously we'll be talking about the US, and as you know, I kind of take it a bit global. So today I wanted to talk about the situation going on in Europe with lockdowns. That will be the first thing. Rittenhouse, of course, Rittenhouse. I also want to talk about someone called Peng Shuai. Peng Shuai.
Yes.
News in the States. Very interesting. A little tittle tattle with Boris Johnson. And then if we've got enough time, then we can look a little bit at Biden and see how he's faring, because he's going to need his strength. Right. Okay. So just to give you guys context, I actually I did a video on Thursday where I was getting all nostalgic because I saw the film called Spencer with Kristen Stewart. Have you guys seen this film?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It is sensational. My little thing is that I'll be surprised if she doesn't win the Oscar. If she does get pipped to the post, it will probably be Gaga for House of Gucci, which people are kind of quoting already. Anyway, just got me very nostalgic and this, that, and the other. But the point is, I was talking about pre-social media and all that's happened since then. But I was also talking a little bit about the lockdowns in Europe, which have now developed a bit more. Oh, we've got a donation that's just come in already. Thank you. Who's that? Lisa Loves Animals. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what's happening is this, and I want your opinion on this, and then we can kind of pull, because as we know, it's been a very controversial topic, to say the least, in the USA. Yeah. Let alone with masks and everything else. But what's happening now is in Austria, it will now become compulsory, mandatory to have the big V, whether you want to or not. And if you avoid it, you'll get fined and also be criminalized if you don't pay the fine. Now, this is a bit intense. I mean, wouldn't you say? I would just say that is a bit intense. Also, as well, they're also going to be having a full lockdown and compulsory vaccination in Belgium. Slovenia is not far behind. Czech Republic, and I think even Australia are making moves. And we now, of course, with this channel, where it's an open channel, everyone has their different opinions, don't they, on vaccines, mandates, etc. It's a spectrum of behavior. But I must say, particularly as a Brit, and you know, I didn't vote for Brexit, actually, I voted to remain. But now I'm kind of looking at some of the stuff in Europe, and I'm like, did we dodge a bullet? Yeah.
Right.
Because the thing is, this is such a contentious subject. It's so difficult. It's so multi-layered. But when it comes to force, effectively criminalizing people, I think that might be just a bit of a step too far. So, and there's anti-rioters as well in Holland. So I just wanted to do a read. What is the energy behind this in the context of Europe? Yeah, obviously every country has to deal with its own, but I just thought we'll ask that question, and I just want to see what I get and what you guys get. Yeah, so what energy in regards to criminalizing or fining and then criminalizing people that do not take the mandatory vaccine? And this is irrespective if you've got allergic reactions, anything that you're just like, that's it. So let's see. What's the energy? What can you tell us, Spirit, about this scenario, these new developments? And in the description in the video, I've just put some links so you guys can see the UK's reaction to this, which I think many of the viewers will find very interesting. Okay. What's the energy behind this? The energy behind this.
I mean, mine is certainly interesting.
What do you have? Would you like to go first?
Sure. You know, because I don't have too many thoughts about it one way or the other, because it doesn't really affect me. So I just feel like it wouldn't happen here. That's basically like my extent of that thought. Like, it wouldn't happen in the US. But you know, it is going to be like an uphill battle. It's going to be a bit of a fight. It's not going to be easy. It is going to affect people's finances. It's going to affect families. I'm wondering if some people are going to choose to leave, maybe, or they end up paying these fines that they can't afford. So then it gets a little strange. So, you know, hidden motives and agendas. So, you know, that's what the High Priestess is all about. And who has it? Well, it's the government. And it's a real turning point. This is going to change everything. And it's a clarifier. I picked one out of my Archangel deck, and I got Archangel Shemuel. And it says, there's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight. Dare to be different. So there's a better way. So they could be doing this differently than how they're doing it. I mean, because criminalizing people is really harsh. It's like when we were criminalizing people here that, you know, take marijuana. You know, it's nothing I would ever do, but do they belong in jail either? You know, like, no. And I sort of feel the same way with this.
Wow. Lady G, what do you have? I realized I forgot to actually announce that the show today are on my community channel. So I'm going to try and on the community tab. So I'm going to try and multitask to see if I can do that at the same time. But Lady G, what do you have?
Okay, well, I also picked a clarifier, discernment. So mine comes under the mask of discernment. And what we have is, you know, this is being brought. It's not something people want to deal with. The people that are getting criminalized, of course, are really not happy about that. But the challenge is spreading light on this, getting information out. I think they're a little overkill. They're worried about, you know, death. It just feels like, you know, the apocalypse. The four horsemen are running across and running amok. So they're a bit overkill. So they're wanting to temper things, bring it to balance. Again, You know, and so they're going to put this out and try to find a way to stabilize it. But yeah, I feel too it's overkill to criminalize it. But you know, it's like they've gone bonkers, and we've got the four horsemen running amok. You know, pestilence and yeah.
Yeah, indeed. It's very tense, and what I would say, and this I think this is obviously a different reaction or a different feeling than would be experienced in the States. But for us as Brits, because of history and geography, when we see stuff like this happening, which is only a few hours away, Austria is about an hour's flight away by plane.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Close, yeah.
Europe
That
is
puts it into
really
perspective.
close. So obviously, like for you guys in the States, you really genuinely are far, far away. You have the Atlantic Ocean in between. In the UK, we only have the Channel, and which of course is swimmable. Yeah, this is just something that people like to do. So stuff happening in Austria and Germany feels really close. So we're kind of like looking at Europe with our binoculars, and we're kind of like, what's this? Of course, there's a great debate, but when it starts coming into criminalizing people for, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, very interesting. Anyway, the cards that I've got, these are the cards I've got. I've got the Six of Cups, but in reverse. And we know when the card is the right way up, it is about nostalgia, it's about family, you know, all of this stuff. But here it's almost like, in a way, this kind of worries me a little bit, because this card is about what? The past. Yeah, not wanting to let go of the past, etc., and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking the past in regards to Europe, when this type of thing was happening, is really not something we want to see. Do you know what I mean? In terms of energetically, I don't think we want to be going back to the past. And what's crossing it? We've got the Judgment card. And it was very interesting. I've included in the links, there's a British journalist that went over and interviewed the people of Austria to see what their opinions were. And the opinion varied depending on class. The wealthier people were just like, damn them. Yeah, that's it. No, you know, they're just messing things up. We don't want any more lockdowns and this, that, and the other. We've made all these sacrifices. But when they talked to working class people, it was different. And they were kind of much more against the government. So there's something like that going on. I think there is a sense of celebration, perhaps, in regards to the government, because they're like, yes, we've done it. And I also, as well, I think this could be many of the people of Austria that are basically glad that this has happened. You know, fair enough. What it's about is to do with security. I think what's happening to people, and it makes sense, people want to feel safe, don't they, at this time? They want to feel safe. They want to feel secure. And that is perfectly a reasonable explanation. But then look, we get the page of wands, which can be about messages, some kind of message coming forward. I mean, obviously the government has announced whatever, but could there be more as well in the pipeline? Does this herald more announcements like this in regards to the rest of the world? So I just thought we should just pull some cards on that. Maybe a little bit controversial, I don't know, but it is world news, and I just wanted to see what the opinions were on that one. But quite interesting cards that we got, didn't we? Quite interesting cards there.
So I have a question. So
Sure.
say if that did happen in England, what would be the English response to that? Because I know what the American response would be, and it wouldn't be good. I mean, it'd be violent, there'd be protests, they'd be burning down cities. What would a British person do?
Do you know what? With it, I think it will be a mixed bag, but there would almost certainly be riots outside of Parliament, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think, because the thing is, although like Brits, we're kind of very polite on the surface, depending on which part of the UK that you're from. But we are very. That could be a little bit. Anyway.
You're going to get in trouble.
No, be careful. Let's say there's national, there's geographical characters, yeah, just like in the States, very much so with the UK. But I think there would be actually quite a lot of protests, because there is this very independent streak that runs through all Brits to a greater or lesser extent. I mean, look, we've shown it. Brexit. Yeah, Brexit. Look at that. And that was even in our economic interest to stay. But there is this aspect of sovereignty. Obviously, it comes from the past, empire and all that kind of stuff. So the idea of that being taken away or the government stepping it would be utterly outrageous for Brits. And the response tends to be very, very quick. We tend not to riot so much, but we put the pressure on the MPs immediately. The government tried recently, and when we look at Boris Johnson later, the government tried to do some things so lobbying could be allowed, and it just got shot down. It just immediately got shot down. So I'd be very surprised if we have that here, but you never know. But it would be extremely controversial.
Okay.
Extremely controversial. Okay, so I'll do a few more shout outs, and then we'll go on to the next topic, which is really a real hot potato. So we've got Jenny W, we have got Maria Colon, we have got Flora K, Blue Moon Rising, who else? Duende, Super Queen B 45. Wow. My gosh, you guys have some incredible names, and many, many, many more. Okay, let's talk. We need to talk about Rittenhouse. Yeah, we need to talk about Rittenhouse. Now, it will not surprise you that me, as a Brit, watching here from the UK,
right?
It's like, really? I mean, I expect lots of things, but someone has quite literally gotten away with murder.
Yeah.
And this really does set a very, very unsettling precedent. And you can imagine, like, look, England and Britain and America, staunch allies. We're staunch allies. But this is very, very concerning. This is very, very concerning, because it's not like a case he was found guilty and then he was given the death penalty or, something extraordinary like that. He was let off, even for the gun offenses as well.
Yeah.
So what my question is, what is the future of justice in America? I know it's a big question, but I think it has to be asked. Don't you reckon, with that kind of outcome?
Yeah.
What is the future of justice in America? What is the future of justice in America? I'm not surprised, though, by the way. I did have a feeling that he would get off. I didn't make a video about it or anything like that, because I knew it would happen. But it's very concerning. That was caught on video, Right.
I mean, I did a video about the judge. Because, he was elected, he was placed there by certain people, and I really felt like he was bought and paid for, and that this will ultimately end his career.
Wow.
There is a level of corruption there.
And he
obviously
was so biased. It was just,
he was extremely biased. It was obvious that he had been bought and paid for.
Yeah.
He didn't try to hide it.
And also as well, what was that whole thing about Rittenhouse being able to select jury members by picking names out of a hat? I mean,
oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, he was able to select.
What
they did was to help calming down or whatever. He was able to pull a selection of jury members out of a hat or something like that. And I'm just like, this is just
bizarre.
Just utterly extraordinary now.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I am ready. So I think right now, a lot of us are brokenhearted. This is just a reflection of what a lot of us are feeling. And I would say this is the majority, even though I know like we don't get a lot of press coverage, this side, you know, because it's the other side that does the more dramatic things. So they get more coverage. But I would say your average American is actually pretty saddened by this. The obstacle is it's going to be a ruthless battle and there is abuse of power. So this isn't going to be easy. There is a certain level of disillusionment, not being grounded, living in a fantasy world. And I think that's where we've been. But ultimately, I get the justice card and justice will prevail. It's going to be a ruthless battle, but it will prevail. And when I did the clarifier with the archangels, I get Archangel Jeremiah. And it says, new beginnings, end of delays, a change in direction that offers happiness.
Ah.
So we're heading in the right direction. It's just most of us feel like it's not fast enough.
So interesting. Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, my clarifier thing also was joy, you know, that same thing, we're headed that way. But right now we're having to deal with those of the wealth and power in that drama. The challenge is for those to stand up and speak out, okay, start bringing more stuff forward, looking more on the world stage and coming to an end of the drama that's being gone with this. And that's going to take time. The wheel is turning. Karma is coming. It's going to take time, and it's going to have to come from a coming together, you know, more consciousness, more about, you know, love and coming to the better things, more understanding, more awareness, rather than those, you know, more of the people rather than those with money and power that are skewing things.
And that's interesting because Archangel Jeremiah is actually, if I can show it, is actually the wheel.
The wheel. There you go.
So synchronicity there.
Same way. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. I'm just going to see if there's any comments on what we were just talking about now. Let's see. Well, yeah. Well, people are saying hello and then pretty much talking amongst themselves. So you know. But if anyone's got any opinions on this as well, feel free to comment in the chat. Okay, my cards are slightly different. My cards are a bit different. So Dianne, of course, you got the Three of Swords. Here, look, I've got the House of the card of well-being, homecoming, etc. Basically, you know, we know that this is like a celebration, a milestone, etc. But here it's reversed. So in a way, we can almost, if this card is about peace and, you know, success, this almost looks like, well, I would describe this as a miscarriage of justice. Yeah, that sense of security and trust in the law, I think, has been turned upside down. Because I mean, this is really serious. Like someone has murdered. What was it? 2 people on camera,
and shot a third,
and has been completely acquitted of everything. And they also crossed state lines with an illegal gun, etc. I mean, it just beggars belief, and how the jury could arrive at that decision, irrespective of what the judge was saying. It was clear that the judge, you know, is biased, which is really a null and void for the case anyway. But if we look here, look, there's lots of emotions, lots of sadness. Yeah, this is like a break of trust. You know, when the card is the right way up, it's fulfillment, feeling good about stuff. This is just the opposite, you know. And I think people are feeling very emotional about it, of course. Let alone the families of the people that have lost their loved ones. Also, as well, there is this. I also see this as a kind of a lack of empathy. You remember the judge said they couldn't be called victims.
Right.
That was horrible.
That was so strange.
How could they not be called victims when they were shot dead? So this, of course, is of great worry and concern. I think a lot of people are asking questions. I was watching some of the American channels, of course, just to see what the American scoop was. And a lot of people are just shaking their heads because there was no ambiguity about this. If there was a bit of ambiguity, even if it was even if it was a dark and foggy night, would have been more plausible. This was caught on camera. It was there. It was open and shut case. And if we look here, this is causing what? Great, discussion, debate, backwards and forwards, it's a challenging card anyway at the best of times. But, when it's reversed, this is really, it's almost like this internal struggle that a lot of people are battling with. And I'm sure there are people within the legal profession that are really wondering what kind of precedent this sets up. But my card is different. Look at that.
Yeah.
A tower moment here. And so I think this case is going to be discussed and it's going to be talked about for a long time, because I think really for many people, particularly many observers, this is the lightning strike of the tower. Yes, he's young and baby-faced, but that doesn't give you the right to go around killing people just because you've got a sweet face and you're like, in court. Oh, he can get off because he cried. Imagine.
He should cry.
Yeah.
And now he's saying he has PTSD, which blew me away. I felt like saying you should have PTSD. You murdered people.
Exactly. Extraordinary. I mean, I just, it really does beg a belief, particularly here in the UK, looking at this, looking at that judge. I can tell you, hand on heart, and I can guarantee it, if there was ever a judge like that in the UK that displayed such bias on camera in a public sphere, that person would be taken off that case immediately. They would not be. A judge cannot be biased. It's supposed to void the case, and it's. I just find it extraordinary that this young man has just literally been able to get away with murder, and it's just, irrespective of his age and stuff, we need to respect what happened and who was lost. So for me, the mind boggles. But anyway, we shall see what happens in the future. Okay, so we're going.
I couldn't believe it. He's in the court. He's got his phone, and it plays the Trump song.
You're joking.
I didn't catch that.
I'm not joking.
Wow.
Yeah, his phone rang and it's playing the big Trump thing.
Wow.
Why did he even have a phone?
Why was it even switched on?
Exactly. Judge should not be taking his phone into the courthouse. And
It shouldn't be allowed.
Just like, really?
I mean, talk about giving special privileges. My goodness.
It's just extraordinary. It's just utterly extraordinary. I don't know what else to say. It's just.
And they had raised, $500,000 too for his legal defense, because I don't think it's over. Because I do think there could be federal charges.
Do you think?
I'm not convinced that it's done. I think it's done at this level, but they can take it to the next level, and I hope they do.
Wow. We'll have to see, but it is shocking. It's shocking, and it's just wow. Okay, so we're going international again, and what I wanted to ask is, and a lot of people are asking, is what has happened to Peng Shuai? So, for those of you who may not be familiar with the story, Peng Shuai is a top tennis player, originally from China. And she plays two-handed on both sides, like Monica Seles. If people remember Monica Seles, the tennis player, very talented, very, very good, and is actually one of the world's top doubles players. And a few weeks ago, I think when I was looking, it was on something online. It was saying 17 days and counting. But let's say over 2 weeks ago, Peng Shuai made an allegation, and what did she say? So she's 35 years old, and she's vanished since accusing 75-year-old former vice premier of coercing her into having sex. And she's, since saying that, she's been missing. And now the WTA, which is the Women's Tennis Association, is threatening to actually withdraw all of its tournaments and stuff from China, because where is she? So we've had Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams, and many others asking where she is. And there was a post allegedly supposed to be from her, which doesn't look like it's her account. And it's been cropped, and even her body weight looks different and stuff like that. I think it was like some vintage footage, and she's not been heard from since, at least at this time of doing this video. So I just wanted to read what's the energy around Peng Shuai. What's happened with Peng Shuai? What's happened with Peng? Wow, I've got a card that dropped out. What's happened?
I know, because it's been 2 weeks already.
Yeah, it's been over 2 weeks. Yeah, it's just scary stuff. I mean, we know that the regime in China has a reputation for this, but she's an international tennis player. Do you know what I mean? This is something a bit different. What's happened with Peng Shuai? Are you, who's ready to go first?
I am ready. I'm good.
Perfect. All right.
I mean, I guess on one hand, my cards are a little dark, but on the other hand, she does appear to be alive. So
okay,
take that for however you will. But because I get the card of perseverance, that she's still around. Maybe not where she wants to be and doing what she wants to do, but she's persevering despite what's going on. But of course, her obstacle is hidden motives and agendas. And so is my clarifier. So believe it or not, the clarifier is also the High Priestess. So I get the High Priestess twice in this reading.
Wow.
That there are things going behind the scenes that are a bit dark in nature, that we don't know about. There is going to be a judgment call. They're going to have to do something about this. I don't think this is something that they can keep hidden forever, but they're going to try as long as they can. I mean, they still have the next Dalai Lama, right? I mean, the poor Dalai Lama, I think he feels like he can't even pass because they've stolen his successor. And that's been what, how many years?
Really?
So,
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. I think the Dalai Lama is actually hanging on. I mean, because he's quite elderly now. He's about the same age as my mom was, and they've kept his successor forever. They took him as a little boy, and they won't give him back or say where he's at. Or
my goodness.
So wherever she's at, she is feeling burdened and oppressed. She is not feeling good about things, and there's more for us to learn. You don't see clearly in the moonlight. So there's some things along with that High Priestess card that they're keeping in the dark, that they're trying to not shed light on. But I think they're going to eventually have to do or say something.
Right. Wow. Okay, Lady G, what do you have for us as I pull my camera forward so I'm sort of at least the same sort of like head size as you guys, because I realize I'm a little bit low down. There we are. Oh, maybe there we are. We'll go like that.
Yeah,
What do you
trying to make sense of mine. I think she's hidden away somewhere. We have the closing door. Okay. Wow. So she's kind of, they've got her kind of hid away somewhere. So what I have is Three of Pentacles. I think there was a number of people that probably worked on this. The challenge is government, somebody high in government. Of course. So she pissed this guy off. I have the Empress. Now, it could be, I'm wondering if it has to do with maybe Biden or somebody when they get together with the Emperor, because I've got the Empress and the Emperor. Maybe somebody higher up in the U.S. will address, where is she? And but the final card I've got is a bit confusing. We've got the Nine of Pentacles, somebody that is, flush, and so that's a bit weird. So I think I'm going to pull a couple more cards and just see, because that's a bit odd. It's a bit odd.
Because she's not, she's the opposite of emancipated at the moment, isn't she? I mean, that's
Right.
already what she was before.
Exactly.
When she was free, when she was playing, earning prize money, being very successful. And yeah, so that's quite interesting that card.
I think she's being leaned on, okay, because we've got the hermit kind of there alone, kind of being, don't talk, don't bring anything out, and being worked on. So I think that maybe she's behind closed doors and being leaned on very heavily. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to come to the State Department or something. When they get together, they're going to talk to somebody higher up in China to try to figure out what's going on with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, Patricia Sterling, for your donation. And before I show my cards, which, well, I'll see what you guys think. But from what I can recall, based on what I've seen on the news, these allegations, when they are made, what often happens is that the person who is basically flagging it up is essentially forced to recant and take everything back and say, I'm so sorry, I'll improve, blah, 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 as if it's their fault.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just astonishing that we still have behaviors like this in the world. But you know, it's just remarkable. So the card that fell out of the deck for me was the Hanged Man. Yeah. Clearly she's in limbo. She's stuck wherever she is. The next card that I got was Temperance Reverse, which of course is the opposite of alchemy. Things are not working right. This could also be the WTA as well, trying to kind of get a sense of trying to make something happen. But this is almost like whenever I see Temperance in reverse, it reminds me of like a car engine that won't start. You know, it gets the it doesn't spark. If we see here, we've got the Queen of Swords that's turned up. So of course this is all about judgment. You know, this is about, you know, I mean, this could on one hand, this could represent literally the WTA, which of course is a female-led organization who are basically trying to investigate on behalf of Peng Shuai. We could look at it in that way. But this also as well could also talk about Peng Shuai. Maybe she's determined to stick to her truth.
Yeah.
Like you were saying that that she's being leaned on, and maybe she's not yielding. Because we've not had that.
It could be too.
I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. It's not happened yet. And, you know, we're going to be getting close to 3 weeks soon. So this could also be Peng Shuai sticking with her truth and showing her courage, actually, for speaking up. But just like with Dianne, look, she's feeling overwhelmed. Yeah. This is one person against the whole regime. This is not easy, is it? It can't be easy for her at all. And she's probably really thinking, she's probably getting a bit nostalgic. She's probably thinking about the past, probably thinking about her life and all that kind of stuff. But the outcome, well, the last card I get is a bit concerning.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. So either way, at the very minimum, she will be entering a new life cycle anyway.
Right. Yeah.
The situation that she's in. But let's hope it's not literal. Which, you know, the death card, as we know, is often rebirth, renewal, maybe something coming to an end. We can hope that maybe her situation that comes to an end, and let's hope it's not her physically, which would be obviously absolutely tragic, but not unthinkable, unfortunately, particularly when it comes to very high-ranking government officials. I think they've come down extra hard on her. I know sometimes some actors vanish for a while or artists vanish for a while and they come back. But I think because this person was so senior, this is like equivalent of the vice president. You know, the regime is very, you know, anyway, these things. So let's hope things improve for her. All right, let's talk a little bit about Boris Johnson. Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, I was thinking of a nickname, you know, because you know I love my nicknames. I was thinking like Goldilocks would be a good one. Goldilocks or himbo, yeah, himbo. I'm not sure if that's a word very much used in the States, but you know, everyone knows about bimbo, but you know, he can be a bit of a himbo at times.
Yes.
And you know, many people will know Boris, but not everyone. But he is the UK's Prime Minister. He is known as a very jovial character, often kind of making joke-filled speeches and stuff like that. He has wild, crazy hair, but he is also controversial. He's often naughty, but he does seem to have been genuinely passionate about the environment. Oh, I've just had a card jump out. Let me just pick that up. He's been genuinely passionate about the environment and has just hosted or helped put together COP 26, which of course was all about the environment and was actually pretty successful overall. It was pretty successful overall. Not everything, but it was better than anything. But the look at that. I've just had a card just drop out for him. So we know what that can mean. We'll assess that. So what I wanted to ask is what is Boris's future? We've recently had some scandals with politicians one politician wanting to basically being found out to be working on the behalf of lobbyists. And it was a big deal over here. Obviously, in America, this is just par for the course. People just like, really? But it's in the UK, it's still a big deal. And basically, they tried to get this guy pardoned, and it all backfired. And since then, his poll numbers have been affected. So I just wanted to ask, what's in the future for Boris Johnson? What's in the future for Boris Johnson? What is in the future for Boris Johnson? What's in the future for Boris Johnson? His government have also gone back on some promises as well. There's something called the Northern Powerhouse and HS2, which is a high-speed train line that was supposed to go up to Leeds. Now I think it's only going up to Birmingham, which is in basically the Midlands, and the Leeds is way up in the north, but just under Scotland. So people are asking lots of questions about pledges and promises that have been potentially broken. So who's ready to go? I am
Good. His cards are interesting.
Oh yeah.
But actually not bad. So I would say, you know, his career is certainly not over. I think he has more opportunities coming his way. I think he's going to have some of his wishes and dreams come true. I think just probably in a different form than, you know, how he is right now. His obstacle is, well, I don't think he's the most enlightened person.
Sorry.
I'll try to say that in a nice way. You know, yeah, I'll leave it at that. And he is going to have some bumps. So he is going to lack some community support, right? So people voting for him and that sort of thing. But he does do something right somewhere, because he gets like this nice fertile new beginning with more opportunities coming. And it's still going to be something in the government. And when I pull the clarifier, he gets the 10 of Michael. And it says, a situation has ended and you are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow.
Wow.
So I think he's going to go through some sort of transformation with his career, but I don't think he's going to become any more enlightened, let's say.
Very interesting. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, what I got was, we start out with the crossing initiation, okay, which is the crossing seems to be a bit precarious, but he's kind of gotten across there. What I get with him is a lot of, things up in the air, kind of airy fairy. We'll have to figure out where he's going. The challenge is, women, the strength of women. Okay.
Well, exactly knows about women. Let's put it that way. He's a very fertile man as well. People are not really sure how many kids he's got.
Right.
Yeah,
how many children?
Dabbling. Yes. So some things are going to be coming, which, of course, he's not going to want to see. People are not going to want to deal with it. He's going to keep trying to plod along, slowly but surely. But yeah, it could be something to do with all his family and all his children and stuff.
All his children.
Yeah.
Oh, the children,
I think he's about 10. I think he's got about 10 now. And it's very difficult to hide them, of course, because they're almost all of them are born with this shock of, of electrocuted, like blonde hair. And I mean, his current son, he's a cute kid, but the hair is extraordinary. It's like a supernova that's gone off. So, it's not like he can deny it. I remember one time, this is a story from way back, but a certain Boris Becker, do you remember him, tennis player? And do you remember Boris Becker? Oh, okay. So, German tennis player, won Wimbledon ages, bit of a character. And anyway, he is known for having the odd love child here and there. And he was embroiled in a scandal years back where basically this Russian woman said that she and Boris had a passionate encounter in a broom cupboard in a hotel, in a fancy hotel. Boris was, Boris Becker, another Boris, was going for lunch and obviously decided there was stuff that wasn't on the menu that he quite liked. Anyway, so they said they had this broom cupboard moment and he denied it. And then all she did, she turned up in court and she just showed a picture of the child and they were like, yeah, he did it. Yeah. She was identical. It was just like the face of Boris Becker, basically staring back. And yeah, she got her monies and all that kind of stuff. So, Boris Johnson has had, let's just say, plenty of that kind of going on. But in terms of his future, it's quite interesting. So look at that. We have big money coming in. There's big money here, big corporations. This could also be what I could be picking up, especially because I'm here in the UK. When we think of the recent scandal, it was about business operations and lobbying as well. So it's quite interesting that's come up. But this could also be talking about Boris, his lineage, his family, family wealth, etc., all of that kind of stuff. If we look at the obstacle, look at that. Juggling money overseas, little underhand kind of stuff. And this is really what actually came up. And what he's been mainly criticized for is his handling of the situation. People feel, even his own party and the media and lots of other people feel he's not handled it well. This, of course, is the card of literally juggling things, trying to manage things. And we've got over 700 people with us, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So that's brilliant. So here he is, maybe feeling a little bit victimized, but also as well, he's been forced recently to change his perspective. The criticism has been so uniform, so harsh, and a lot coming from his own party and the conservative media. Everyone's been like, this stinks, because in the UK, I don't know if you know, did you hear about the MP expenses scandal and stuff like that?
No.
Okay, there was a big scandal where they were wasting money and, on duck ponds and various different kind of stuff, all the MPs, and it was like divided by class. But also as well, there was Tory sleaze, we refer to it, and we're talking about toe-sucking scandals and all sorts.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah, Brits are quite kinky, and when we go for it, the Brits really go for it. There's all sorts of mistresses, rent boys, toe sucking, the whole lot, drugs, The whole shebang. You guys would have been scandalized. It probably would have actually been too controversial to show on American TV because, you guys are very good at guns and explosions, but when it comes to naughtiness, everyone's like, oh no, none of that. So it was really a big thing. So the Tories are like, we don't want this reputation back because they lost the last election, the last time they lost because of the sleaze. So they were like, Boris, what have you done? Yeah. But look, there's something here. There is a tower moment. And then some kind of sense of loss.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a little bit of a surprise coming for Boris, but messages from Dog says, as you know, I love my little messages from dogs, which is saying, be light-hearted. Even unpleasant experiences can provide a clean slate. So it's almost like they're echoing, like maybe there is some kind of bombshell that comes out, but he goes on to have a lucrative career like many.
That's exactly what I was getting. Like, yeah, like there's gonna be a bump in the road, but he's just gonna persevere and his life will keep on going, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he would actually be even more successful, actually, because in a previous incarnation, he used to be the minister for culture. So he's written books on Churchill and stuff like that. And I've always believed that was one of his favorite jobs. And he probably actually should have stayed in that job. But, there you are. Such is life. Okay, so we've got a bit of time left. Let's have a little chin wag about Biden. Now, I know many of you guys will be watching, be like, leave Biden alone, Why do you keep talking about blah, blah, blah? But the reason why is because the astrology is the astrology. And we need to remember he's got Ketu, which I call snip, snip, going through his first house. Now, I don't know about you guys. Now, obviously, he's your president, and I respect that he's your president, and he's been through the mill with all of this cray going on. But would you agree? I think he is looking a bit tired. I would say when I've just seen his speeches recently. I mean, his voice is powerful, but when I tune into his energy, because we need to remember, irrespective of one's chronological age, being president is the toughest job in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of everyone, almost every president that we've seen has aged in the job. Yeah, do you remember, like, when you see old pictures of like Obama, he looks so fresh faced and then you see him by the end, after 8 years. I mean, he still looks good, but those lines deepened drastically, the face hollowed out, and all that stuff. So I am a bit worried because he does have some. I was actually just looking up. Actually, I was just kind of really curious. So what is it called? So he's got arthritis in his back. Apparently, he's got arthritis in the back, and he's been treated for AFib, so which is irregular heartbeat.
Yeah.
So he's got that, and he's taking Cresta, a drug which is to lower cholesterol and triglyceride levels. He's also on something called Eliquis, which is to prevent blood clots. So he's got that. And then he's also taking Nixium for acid reflux. He's got that. And he takes Allegra, which I think a lot of people take, which is for nasal allergies and stuff like that. And of course, in 1988, he was treated for an aneurysm back when he was in Congress. So, of course, did everyone see? I think it was mentioned on the American news that Kamala Harris had presidential powers for 80 minutes. Did you see that one? That story? Yeah. So that was Biden was having a colonoscopy. So with this background of this stuff, I'm just worried with what happens is when Ketu goes through your first house, the first house represents you and your body. The sun in a person's chart also represents your vitality. The nodes of the moon go in reverse. So Joe Biden's sun is at 4 degrees 30 minutes of sidereal Scorpio. Yeah, he's a double Scorpio, as we all know. The nodes go backwards, so the number starts high and it counts down. At the moment, Ketu has passed over Biden's ascendant, which is at 10 degrees and loose change, and the number's going down. It's now at 7 degrees and loose change. So it's getting closer and closer to Biden's sun, which is his vitality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to cross over around about, I think it's going to be like February, early February next year. So just given these things and his maturity and the stress of the job, the fact he's been given a very, very hard time, I just want to see what we get in regards to his health. All right, Biden's health. And whenever any of you are ready to go, just go for it. Biden's health. Where is Biden's health? Going forward. How is Biden's health? And he's still got a ways to go. If you just think, I mean, technically, you know, it's not until 2024, the next thing.
So,
Ooh.
my cards are interesting. I wouldn't say that they're positive or negative. I'm getting something kind of in between.
In between.
So, like, I think there's some things that we might find out. There's something that we could hear about, some truth that we might find out. But also at the same time, nothing's really been decided. And so I feel like this isn't pre-fated or predetermined. That maybe if he was just to get some rest right now, take it easy, put his feet up for a little bit, like maybe this could be prevented. But he doesn't like any of his choices or his options.
Wow.
I think he is pushing forward. He's a go-getter. He's trying to solve problems. He's trying to do what he can. But he is also aware that he has some challenges and he is assessing it. He is thinking about it. But he's also about to start a new phase of his life or a new cycle too, which is interesting. And when I asked for a clarifier, I get 9 of Michael, which says your worry is unnecessary. Focus your thoughts on the outcome you desire.
Ah, that's a good message.
So, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot for this.
Anything else, or are you good?
No, because I just don't feel like, I mean, what I'm getting is like it's just not decided. Like maybe if he actually was to just take a break, which I'm not thinking he's going to, he could actually prevent some of this.
Yeah. I feel like he needs a break, like a good few weeks off. But what do you get, Lady G?
Well, my card is faith, one of faith. And yeah, hanging in. But it looks like I'm getting a lot more, looks like Kamala. Maybe she may be having to take over more duties because that's the challenge, is her strength and being able to go forward to have a victory. Okay, to have a victory. Wow. Because what I get here is the card of death, some transition happening and a judgment. So hopefully it's not a physical death, but they may have to transition where she's picking up much more of the load and a judgment because his health is failing. It's just, you know, he's only got so much energy.
True.
Face it at that age. So
yeah. And I think he's just had his birthday, isn't it? I think he's just turned 79, I think.
Yeah.
So,
there. And that is such a stressful job.
Right. It is. It's well known, and also as well when one is exposed, because even at the best of times, it's a stressful job. But if we just put ourselves in Biden's shoes and think what he has had to deal with, just the hot mess that he was left. There's been issues with, the DOJ, the former administration, all of that going on, trying to pass the different package, the relief packages, all of that stuff.
Yeah. The
pandemic,
the supply crisis,
and we're seeing the tip of the iceberg as to all the stuff he's dealing with.
Can you imagine his briefings? And then he's also dealing with an opposition that are acting like lunatics.
Yeah.
Really just doing very, very weird stuff. So I would say even if he had become president in his 40s, it would have added years to him, because his plate is so incredibly full. And just like Lady G's saying, there's only so much energy that you can have. And I think he knows he should rest, but I think he's so committed because where his chart is Anurada, Scorpio, very committed. But I do think sometimes he might be over committed to certain things and needs to be a bit more practical about his rest and stuff like that. So I'll quickly read. Oh, look at that. We've come to the hour, and look, we've got over 800 people with us. So look at this. This is the card that I get. Look, I get the poverty card. Yeah, but look, it's reversed. This can mean just, I think inwardly, I think he's feeling exhausted. I think he is really, really tired, but he's keeping a brave face on it, because also as well, this is like feeling shut out in the cold. This is imminent sort of, we know this is the poverty card, which is never a really positive card, which way up you put it. You know, either way, it can refer to dire straits. So if we think of his health and energy, he may be wondering how much he's got left in the tank.
Yeah.
The obstacle card, look at this. I get the Queen of Wands as well. So here we are. Is this a Nancy Pelosi? Is this a Kamala Harris that may have to step in at some point or something like that? Or at least to give him a breather. Could it be that she, either Pelosi or Kamala steps in for a short period of time just to give Biden time to rest, and then he takes up the mantle again, perhaps? Because, I mean, we're only 1 year in. Can you believe it? So much has happened. We're only
so much
1 year in. So he might be feeling overworked and underappreciated. Yeah. And again, a bit exhausted, maybe feeling a bit stuck. Probably thinking like, oh my gosh, I managed to pass that package, but look how much work it must have taken. So when we look at this in this context as well, I think the sheer effort that the GOP are putting on him to get stuff passed is really taxing. He may even feel like walking away. Inwardly, he might just be like, oh my God, I am done. I'm done. I remember I had this feeling when I was doing a job many years ago that I really didn't like. It was totally depleting me. And I just felt every day I had fantasies of just leaving. Yeah. Fantasies of escaping. I eventually did. And I was only there for 3 months. Everyone thought I was a part of the furniture, but it was such an intense 3 months. It may as well have been 2 years. But here we are. He might be feeling under battle. I mean, here, this is someone defending a position. This is feeling a bit overwhelmed, yeah, because the sticks, he's just getting it from all directions. And of course, it doesn't help that I keep reading on about his health and stuff like that. But I mean, I think this tarot reading, though, is revealing maybe a lot of what's going on in his internal world. So I think he's putting a brave face on it. He doesn't want to let anyone down. He doesn't want to let the country down. But I think he has been severely taxed, and every victory that he's had has come at such high expense. So I think for him it's been tricky. So anyway, that brings, look at that, we are just over the hour. So I would just say we've got some comments here on Rittenhouse, but it's probably a little bit too late now. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you so much as well for everyone that donated. We had Maggie Craggy, Gloria Bergrin, a new member just joined, so thank you. I think it was Jackie or something like that, but it was way back in the scroll. We had Sharon Donnelly and Desert Artist and many more. So thank you so much for joining us. It was wonderful. And of course, you will see us next week. Quite an interesting show today, maybe a little bit controversial, but you know, we do need to deal with these, address these questions, as you know. Exactly. You know, look at stuff, what's going on around the world. And let's just see what comes up for next week. But interesting news this week, though, wasn't it? I think a bit intense, particularly that Rittenhouse as well.
Yeah,
I think
very intense.
You know, we'll be talking about that case for a while. Maybe not the most joyful thing, but someone has literally just gotten away with murder, with a very sort of corrupt and biased judge. And this is not good, yeah, because America is supposed to stand for what? Liberty and justice.
Oh, yes.
All. Yeah. So food for thought. But anyway, let me just pull one last card. Let's see messages from Dog. Let's see what messages from Dog has for us. Just see, you know, because it is an uplifting little deck. Let's see what's here. Oh, look, it says jump. Time to spring into action. So I think, you know, I think that's quite pertinent. There's lots of stuff to kind of like talk about in regards to that. But then let's bring the show down before it gets a little bit too long. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next week. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.